Dr. Ford, we are live. Are you ready to do this thing?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. KTTV.
What to do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of Education Unleashed. And on tonight's episode, I have educator, author, leader, and if y'all would have heard any of their talk beforehand, all around bad woman. How you doing tonight, Dr. Ford?
Hello, I'm great. So happy to be here this evening chatting with you.
Look, I just want to say, whew, thank you for taking some time out the busy schedule. Like you say, the grind is here, especially when you are running the ship and steering the ship. So just thank you for taking a few minutes to come and talk about all the good things that you have going on. But before we jump into that, we know wellness is so important. Post-pandemic, you better check on your friends. So how are you, and how are you finding that balance between that grind and taking care of yourself?
Thank you. That is such a great question to start out. I definitely know that the pandemic put wellness and self-care on our radar in a new way. And I really try to practice what I preach and spend lots of time resting and reconnecting with family and doing all the things that recharge me. The truth is that I have a lot on my plate, and we all have a lot on our plate as leaders. And actually had a friend today ask me, she was like, how do you do 17 things in one day? And I was like, well, I'm down to 10 things in one day, not 17. I said, but I have to do it by just recharging. I got away for about 5 days a couple weeks ago, and I really needed that leeway into all the upcoming events I have in June. And my June calendar is exciting and packed. So,
So what are you most excited about? Just go and drop it on us.
Oh, okay. So what's coming up like super quick in 2 days is I am going to be in a bodybuilding competition. My second one, gonna grace the stage. I am so excited, worked so hard for so many months to get up there. And so it's like the anticipation, almost like a wedding, like you're excited to get to it, but also for it to sort of be over too, right? So to resume normal life.
See, and if people didn't see that intro, when I said bad, I meant bad. Come on, Doc. Awesome work. Now, look, what was the biggest thing you had to cut? Was it the diet, or was it just being more intentional on the workouts?
You know what? Everyone thinks the workout is the hard thing. It's not. It's the deliberate sacrifices that you have to make. So there's such a limited amount of social things that I can go to because I need my rest, right? Like my body has to recover. I generally can't eat or drink anything, even this week down to the water. I have special water I have to drink. So it's like really, you have to just go into it knowing that you're going to have to pass on a lot of things. And so in my work, being present at different events and meeting people and networking is sort of part of my job. So that's it gets kind of tricky. I'll say that.
Man. Okay. But when you think about, like I say, the things that we just talked about in that little time, being able to do that discipline piece and being able to stay focused, I think that's just a part of you, which is why you probably so successful at it. So good luck on show too.
Thank you. Yes. So on the same day that I am going to be on the stage, my book, Benches in the Bathroom, officially launches. So what a day on Saturday. What a day.
Okay. What are you gonna do? Like, do you have anything planned after the competition to go celebrate the book signings?
I have a crazy celebration planned on Saturday night. Okay. But in a couple weeks, I'll be getting together with some friends and colleagues to like celebrate the book, and I have some book signings coming up. So yes, I'm going to release that schedule soon. But yes, there's an array of different things. My first book signing will be at the Regional Office of Education here in Illinois.
Yeah.
And then I have another at the Chicago Social Work Conference in August. So I'm super excited. I have quite a few dates coming up. So
Yeah. Now
yeah.
diving into and a little bit into the work we'll be talking about tonight. iCan Dream Center,
Yes.
right? Founder, director, like I say, steering the ship. Just thinking about that background, share with us a little bit of the inspiration behind finding the iCan Dream Center and your work, I guess, with the population that you serve at the school.
Yeah. So the iCan Dream Center is my oldest baby.
Mhm.
I'm the mom of two, a 7 and 9 year old, but the iCan Dream Center turned 10 in March. And so that's my oldest baby.
Yeah.
And I founded it, it was a calling, but it called me. I'll say that it definitely was a call, and it called me. It's such a work of the heart. I really saw. We started off as a high school and post-secondary program, and I really saw an opportunity for these young people to experience education in a better environment, in an environment that was crafted to their needs, and an environment that was really going to promote them to dream after high school in different ways. And I saw this opportunity, and the door opened, and I just kind of ran through it. And so the first couple years was tough work, like anything, and then we really gained traction as a program in about year 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Year 5. Wow. 10 years old. So now doing that work, I know we talked about simultaneously, right? And so then as you're doing those leadership roles and mother, how are you fulfilling all those roles? Like how did you, was it some late night, bunch of tears and coffee?
All of the above. A lot of tears, a
Hey.
lot of coffee. I'm not a late night person, but a lot of very early mornings. So I've usually worked for several hours before the rest of the world wakes up.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I couldn't do any of what we've been able to accomplish at I Can Dream Center. None of the outcomes would be what they were without my amazing team. My team they're rock stars. They love our students. They are so passionate. They're innovative. And I told my team in January, I said, there is no question. I will put you guys up against anybody when it comes to innovation and execution on behalf of these students. And so I have an amazing team. I'm blessed with that. And they go
That's
above
what
and
it's
beyond.
about. That's what it's about, though, having that having a strong team, because if you got to do it all, then I don't think you are the leader.
Right.
So being able to delegate and build that and trust the people around you, so crucial and important to the population. And so as we jump a little bit into it, I want to kind of talk a little about the trauma compassionate leadership, but I want to talk about the students that you serve first, to make sure why that's so important.
Great. And actually, they're so intrinsically linked. So
Yes.
the students that we serve at I Can Dream Center are those who our high school students and our elementary students are ones who could not thrive in a regular gen ed environment. A lot of them struggle with various neurodiversities, communication disorders, autism, mild intellectual disabilities. And we really create an environment for them to be able to get back on track. And in some instances, return to their regular school. In some instances, they graduate, they earn their diplomas through I Can Dream Center, which are such great feel-good stories. For my post-secondary students, they come to us so that we can prepare them to adults. And so we teach them everything from life skills. They help them get driver's licenses, teach them how to rent apartments, get them set up with all kinds of things to help them be independent and thrive in adulthood. And so connection with trauma compassionate leadership is that in environments like ours, in alternative schools, and I use that in air quotes, because often alternative schools can be the 2 in the school to prison pipeline. And so we're super deliberate about how we're set up so we're not contributing to that, right?
Yes.
But often in environments like ours with tough students, that with the complexities of our students, there's a super high staff turnover, which we haven't experienced, and it's because of the environment.
Yeah.
I am protective of our school culture, of the environment. I want people to come in and feel loved on and feel like it's a second home. I hold my organizational values so dear, and we really start giving folks the iCan Dream Center Kool-Aid around what we stand for from day one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm currently at the alternative school, and so like you say, you got to have those principles because if not, we can be the two. I so agree with that statement. But you know, it's that focusing in on um, support, right? So focusing in on just building them up, empowerment. And so
Yeah.
I've lost a few kids this year, which was very sad, whether it was to murder or it was to them being murdered. But then
Mm,
I've also seen a few of them grow from just simply compassion, right? And so the first thing you say is, "Oh my God, he mean." But as a behavior person for all that long time, like you say, those principles just ingrained in what we do,
yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
so,
Absolutely.
man, now you talked a lot about that culture, right? And so understanding that's what a lot of the PD is about. Just jumping into that, what strategies or practices have you found effective when you promote that culture and then you promoting racial equity within inside the school?
So I'm going to actually say something. We went to the racial equity piece of things. I have found that when you have a wellness culture, when people are invited to bring their whole selves to work and to not check their personal stuff at the door, but to bring their whole selves and they are accepted and embraced, that it creates an environment where diversity is natural. And so we don't have to work hard on how do we embrace racial equity or how do we embrace neurodiversity, because you've already been invited to bring your whole person to work,
Yeah,
right? And so
yeah.
it really gets around these one-off initiatives. And let me, in full disclosure, I've worked with schools and districts around equity and racial equity and inclusion, and I'm often reluctant to do it because I don't want it to be part of a initiative or a one-off sort of situation. We have to look
Mhm.
at the entire culture
Yeah,
and look at how people feel comfortable, right? As women, as people of color, cultural and linguistic minorities. And so I hope that um, we are starting to think about creating and retooling environments where everybody is comfortable and welcome.
yeah,
And it's just built into the fabric of what we do. So about 20% of the folks who are employed at iCan Dream Center are neurodiverse. And so we
yeah,
practice what we preach.
yeah.
65% of the employees, I think I had that stat right, are people of color. Our leadership team is mostly women. We have two men on the leadership team, but they're mostly
Mhm.
women. And
Yeah,
so we really value the diversity of perspectives and thoughts. And I talk a lot to my team about giving insight on what's working and what's not working in an authentic way so we can grow, right? Like we want to grow. We don't want to stay the same. We don't want to be the same organization this year, um, next year as we were this year,
most definitely.
because we want to continue. That's actually one of our organizational values is to continue to grow
Yeah.
individually as an organization. And so it's something we're talking about constantly.
And a lot of the times, like you said, just inviting your whole self to work. When you look at a lot of the staff, because I know a lot of us, we was probably some of these kids that we serve right now. We were in school, right?
All
And
day
so
long, all
a
day long.
different level of empathy.
Yes, yes,
Most
that's
definitely.
that's definitely true. And it
Yeah,
helps with my staff, my team members who are neurodiverse, who've had IEPs in school. They understand our students in a different way. And even if that hasn't been their experience, they are sort of comfortable talking about which traumas they've healed from an experience where they can connect with students there as a connection
yeah,
point. And so um, it's been a space for the team to be pretty vulnerable at times
yeah.
and a healing space for some. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, as we invite students back to their home campus, depending on what code of conduct part they missed up on, we like let's say for instance if it's aggression, we always try to have like a restorative circle.
Mm,
And so then there's a lot of vulnerability inside of that circle if you're doing it right. And
yes.
so I understand totally what you mean on creating those spaces to just be open with kids, but once again that empowerment because a lot of that is inside of that circle as well. Do y'all do any practices like that? Working with so many different kids?
We do. So a couple years ago, we had a trainer come talk to us about restorative justice and specifically healing circles. And we like the concept so much that not only do we do healing circles in the mornings with our students, well, once or twice a week, our staff, our team does one, which we call a huddle every single morning.
Yeah.
So 15 minutes before the students come up, you'll see each department huddle and talking about what things are on their heart and what they need to make it through the day. And so it's
Yeah.
really, initially when I proposed like meeting daily, I thought the team was going to like, wait a second, we don't want to meet daily. Because at that point we were on like a weekly team meeting cadence. And so I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to scream when I say, let's meet daily. But they welcomed it and they were excited about it because while we do talk about what's on our hearts, what do you need, it becomes a place for the team to really see one another.
Yeah.
It's also a time, we spend the last 2 minutes talking about the nuts and bolts, who's absent today, what coverage do we need, what's happening with this student that we all need to be aware of. And so it's been really powerful. And so we started that practice 2 years ago, and it's been a blessing.
Wow. And yeah, because you think if we huddle 15 minutes, 13 minutes of that is, like you say, us really seeing each other, right?
Absolutely.
Think about that go teammates. We got there, they break out. This is my friend. So this part of the teammate that I talk to a lot.
Yeah.
But I still got 3 other people on the team. But given that huddle, I use it a lot. Same terminology as well. Down here, I say, team, we need to have a quick huddle, or let's meet in the gym. We need to huddle. And for one, I like it because it almost gives like a different mindset meeting, or let's have a huddle, right? With teams huddle. So most definitely good work. It sounds like you have a lot of awesome things going at the iCan Dream Center. Yes. Now thinking about the students that we serve, like I say, credit recovery, the transition programs, all of the services that you offer. Looking at other schools, other organizations, why is it important that we develop that continual services for the students that we serve?
So that they can really maximize their full potential. I mean, I think that we are missing out as a culture, as a country, if we have this pocket of individuals who continue to be unemployed and underemployed. And I'm talking about folks with disabilities, the largest group of folks that are unemployed and underemployed. What are we missing out on as a culture? They have something to contribute, and we need to tap into that. And so that is why it's important for us to build programs like iCan Dream Center, like where you serve at, so that we can continue to make sure that we are tapping into the strengths and gifts of our students. And so I do believe that they all have something to contribute. And I'm going to take my last breath pulling it out of them. So I help them to access it. So
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Now, back to the book.
Yes.
Benches in the bathroom.
Yes. Benches in the bathroom.
So what made you name? Because when I think of benches in the bathroom, that's like people going to get away. Let's go talk crazy real quick, and then we're going to come back. So when you thought about the book and the title, where did it come from?
That is exactly what it means. I think you're the first one who sort of hit that on the nail. It's an antidote for teacher burnout. And so when I was the assistant superintendent, we were opening up a new building. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to tell this. I'm not going to tell. Folks have to get the book, and they have to read the first paragraph to understand where the title came from. I'm not going to give that away. Order the book on Amazon.com. On Amazon.com. But I will say that you're right, and that it really is an antidote for teacher burnout. And it's about front loading supports so that all of our teachers can thrive and give their very best to our students.
Most definitely. And so when is it dropping again? Give us a date.
2 days, Saturday, June 3rd is the day. Yes.
Come on, man. And so how long you been waiting to get it done?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I've been in labor for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I finally got to hold my baby just this week.
Yes. So the process was work, school, mothers, wife, get it done.
Yes, that's exactly right. I spent a lot of weekends sending the children away, or nighttime. I just said I'm not a nighttime person at all. So sometimes I had to have a cup of coffee so that I could crank something out at night or meet these publisher deadlines. I've talked to a lot of people that have self-published, and the process is a little different because you're not on your own timeline. You're on somebody else's timeline. Once you sign that contract, you're subject to when they say they want to draft back, or they want these corrections made, or they want these shifts made. It was
Yeah.
interesting because I had this like baby, and I was like, here it is. And they were like, oh, this is great, but we're about to rip this apart. But I'm so glad because the end product is so much better than I ever
Yeah.
could have imagined. Yeah.
Man, that's good though. But slow
Yeah.
and steady wins the race. So I gotta ask though, when you think about the book, and the key elements of creating a physically, emotionally, and safe school culture, can you just give us don't you ain't gotta tell us all, but just give us a few of those elements
I'm
that
going to
you
give you
believe.
the number one element is
Come on
psychological
now.
safety. It's making sure as a leader that you're creating an environment where your team feels safe, where they know that they can come to you and what you say is going to be held in confidence, where they know that they can come to you and you're going to be present and not only hearing but listen, not only listening but hearing them. Where they, as a leader, you create the environment of safety and you pluck out any of the things that threaten that, so that people can really come regardless of what traumas they've experienced, so that they're bringing with them, that they can show up in the space and know that they can be there and be present at a time.
Mm, most definitely. Okay. And that's in the book.
Yes, sir.
Y'all better go
Yeah.
get that. Go get that right now. Can they pre-order?
Yes, folks who
Please.
pre-ordered, I've been told their books are on the way. I was like, what?
Hey. That's
Yes.
cool. So now thinking about once again the population we serve. Um, we talked about building them up, but a lot of the times resiliency, right, is a piece that we have to build with these guys because it seems like sometimes they give up. One hard, man, this is how I am. I'm this bad kid. I'm slow. I can't learn like this. So it's a lot. How can educators foster their resiliency among those students, and support those unique needs?
I think the key is going to be connection. It's really connecting with them. That's really the number one resiliency factor. I talk about that in Benches in the Bathroom as it relates to leaders connecting with the folks that they serve,
Yeah.
but also resilience in terms of fostering that through connection. Hold on one second, please. Okay. So I
Yeah.
think like creating connection with the students is going to be a really big deal.
Hmm.
And really getting to know them and hearing their stories and allowing them to feel like full people.
Yeah. And they say meaningful relationships and meaningful work go hand in hand. Like I said, I was in the interview today, and I simply just asked the guy. I said, um, Rita Pearson said that kids don't learn from people that they don't like, right? And so I
Very
just simply
true.
asked, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
Just because I got to get somebody in here that's once again going to build up, going to really identify and empathize versus sympathize. So that's what
Mhm.
we do. Now, as a consultant, because I know you're doing a lot of that work, talk about a little bit of what you go out and help schools with,
Yeah.
and what's the nature of the PD.
So I actually did a full day one on Tuesday, and I was really supporting the school district to really focus on a lot of the strategies that we talked about, compassionate leadership strategies.
Yeah,
Often I'm talking about self care practices for leaders because that's so important for us to get that right for ourselves. But most recently, I worked with an organization on the South Side, and I really love this work because I really got a chance to like know the team. I was probably there with them 3 or 4 sessions and really helped them to unpack some things that were not necessarily contributing to the team feeling safe, or
yeah,
um, just ways for them to just improve their organizational practices. And so it was very fulfilling to
yeah,
work through some things with them over the course of 3 months. And so I
yeah,
was there, regularly and following up on how things are going. And the executive director was very open and just really invested in her team. So that was just great to see. It was great to be a part of. Yeah.
yeah. And that's when those times it's like you say, giving that shout out to your team and making sure you got the strong team. So when you leave, then things can be handled because it sounds like the work you're doing outside of the school is just as important as the work you're doing on the inside of the school.
Yeah.
So when you're out consulting, what advice do you give to school leaders or of those organizations who looking to create meaningful and impactful programs?
My favorite quote is that if service is below you, then leadership is above you. And so I really spend a lot of time helping leaders to understand themselves as servants of the folks that they lead. Like, I believe that as leaders, our job is to resource them with materials and training and psychological safety, and then get out the way. Right. And so in doing that, we have to really bring our whole selves. And sometimes it demands a level of emotional maturity and self awareness that is not always inherent and is definitely not easy. And so sometimes I have to have the tough conversations with leaders that sound something like grow up, or sometimes like you have to put yourself aside. It's not about you anymore. It's kind of like stepping into a parenting role. At some point, your needs can have to be secondary in the moment, right? To the bigger picture. And so we talk a lot about what does it look like to serve those people on your team? Like, what does that look like in a way that's effective? So, and that moves the organization's mission forward, because it's about making your people first. Leadership is about making your needs secondary at the moment for the bigger picture of the organization and the students' benefit, right? And so we talk a lot about that
Yeah,
in the
I was
most
thinking
loving
about
way.
yeah, I was laughing because the beginning of your answer sounded like a continuation of my therapy session yesterday. So I was
Well, you know what? We all need a little bit. We all need a little.
I said, sometimes it's not about you. All right. So yeah, most definitely. Now I know you talked about some stories, and so I want people to understand and hear some of this goodness that's going on. So I'm just gonna ask you, maybe put you on the spot, but give me one or more success stories or a moment from your work that has had a lasting impact on you.
Yeah. You know what? We are really blessed that we get to hear success stories every day. And you certainly understand this as a special educator, is that, we measure success differently. I have a student that's nonverbal and all of a sudden they're making requests. That's a celebration. I have a student who has social anxiety and is not showing up to school, and now they have 85% attendance. Oh, we
Mm,
celebrating. You know what I
that's a
mean?
celebration.
So absolutely. But I'll speak about a parent that came to us. We have our students, we serve them during the school day, right? That's the tuition part of things. The magic happens for us outside the school day. And so we offer parent retreats for our parents. We offer Saturday programs for our young people to have recreational outlets. Students with disabilities aren't always included recreational things. And so we
Hmm.
create that outlet, again, in service to the entire family. So we had a parent who showed up at one of our retreats, and she explained to me that she was not given information about the district's responsibility to educate her child. Now, this young man, this baby, he's 5 years old. This baby is a child with pretty significant autism. And usually I'm in the session with the parents during our monthly retreats. But in this instance, I could see that my team was overwhelmed with this child who had been unschooled for some time. And so I was really working with him one-on-one. I didn't want to leave him back there with the team. We didn't really know him very well. And so I was working with him. Let me say, this baby was strong.
Yeah, you know it.
we had fun together. But when mom told me her story, that she was unaware of what services were services that she was eligible for. She was paying out of pocket something like $60 a day so that she could go to work and have her child in some sort of therapy. And it had just become cost prohibitive quite naturally. And my heart just broke, because I thought, wow, here we are doing all this advocacy and trying to get this information on the parents' radars about their rights as parents of kids with disabilities. And this was totally missed on her. And so, long story short, the success story is that the baby's going to start with us next week in our summer session, and we can
Come on
get him
now.
in school and give mom some relief. And just hear her talk for the pieces of the parent retreat I was actually able to be in. She needs the support of the community that we're offering, but her baby also needs education. He's 5 years
Yes.
old and he hasn't been in school since the pandemic. So for 2 years, he
Yeah.
never went to school effectively
Yeah.
because he's going into kindergarten. So that's a success for me, a huge
Most definitely.
success. for that family.
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, it's about the people we serve. And the good thing is, y'all already got rapport.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mom didn't want to let me go at the end of the night. We would be at that and I was like, oh, I'm tired. I got to go pick up my babies. And she just kept talking, but I listened to her. I said,
no, I was talking about you. I was talking about you and that young man.
You and the baby. Me and the baby. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, gonna need it.
I'll just say this. He was trying to leave the classroom and I grabbed him so that he wouldn't hurt himself and was trying to like redirect him. This baby used his foot to push off the wall. And I thought, wow, if I didn't work out, I would have been on the floor. So he made me spin in a complete circle. The team started cracking up. They were like, whoa, he was handling you. I like to laugh. I was like, oh my goodness.
That's it. And when you do it for so long and you know how it can go, but then, like you say, you still know how to keep yourself safe, keep the baby safe.
Absolutely.
Then you say, this is
you had to see it, though. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. He had me spinning like a doll.
Look, I was a behavior teacher for 15 years. So, yeah, I'm with you, though. All right. So now, as we get ready to land this plane, give us the information on how do we contact you? How do we find the book? Where we can find the shots of the competitions here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So first you can contact me, drevisha.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. There's actually a really cool a really cool group on Facebook called Leading a Physically, Emotionally, and Socially Safe School Culture, where we talk about all these different ideas and we get to hear from the practitioners who are doing the work as well. So join that on Facebook. Again, I'm on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and you can get the book on Amazon, on solutiontree.com, and it'll come straight to your doorstep, which is exciting. And the pictures of the competition. Well, let me see if I win first, and then we'll talk about that. I'll post pictures on Instagram on Saturday.
That's cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you for taking some time out. Awesome conversation. A bunch of good nuggets. Like you say, psychologically safe. I think I want to focus on that next year. So I appreciate that tidbit, and I will make sure I grab the book so that
bring
I
me
can
down.
share.
I'll talk to your team. We can get a book and come on, bring me. I'll be happy to come resource the team.
Yeah, right in the circle.
Yes.
Hey. All right, that'll work. Well, thank you, Dr. Ford. You have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right, y'all. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
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 KT